Hey, what's up? I'm Tom Court and I'm from the UK and I ride the North Gambler board and the North Vegas kite, and I ride wake style. As far as the North line of kites goes, there's a lot of different options available on in the North line, and for me the Vegas just suits my style of riding the most out of all the other kites. I mean, it's got a more C-shape feel to it. It's got the lines go straight to the tips of the kite, so you get a more direct feel in the bar, and there's no bridle or anything that takes out the feeling in the bar. And for me that's better, because with the tricks that I do and the more wake style side of riding, you want to feel where the kite is all the time and have direct feedback from the kite, and for me that works the best. And over the years the Vegas has sort of developed as the more C-shaped kite in the North line, and I think it sort of it works best for me. One cool thing about the Vegas over most other c-kites is that it's got a lot of different settings, and it's got 2 settings at the front and 3 settings at the rear, which allow you to change the steering speed of the kite and also change the amount of D-power that you have on the kite. I use the wake style setting, which is the back of the 2 settings on the front of the kite, which gives you slightly less D-power and a lot more feel on the bar. Like, it gives you a bit of a heavier bar feel, which gives better feedback on the kite, and sort of slows the steering down a bit as well, so you get a much more grunty feeling. Well, the 2013 Vegas has changed quite a bit over the previous years. They've tweaked the wingtips in, so it looks a lot more square in the sky. It's got a lot flatter tips rather than the curved tips that it had before, and it's sort of a lot more stable than it was. It relies a lot less on the 5th line, and it has a lot more direct feeling on the tips of the kite. Yeah, I guess the main differences this year are really in the kite feedback. Like, you get a lot more feel straight from the bar, and when you're in a trick, whether you're flying it one-handed or whether you're unhooked and you got both hands on the kite, whether you got both hands on the bar, you really sort of feel where the kite is, and that allows you to sort of have a lot more, I guess, sort of input in the kite, like throughout your trick. So you really know where the kite is. You can keep your kite low, and if you're riding rails and stuff, you know that the kite's not going to whip off in one direction without you knowing that it's doing it. So yeah, I guess the main changes are in the feedback that you feel as a rider. I would say that the Vegas is probably one of the safer kites on the market, and although it's a c-kite, it has a lot of safety features that a lot of other kites don't have. I mean, it runs on a 5th line, which gives it 100% D-power if you pull the safety system. It has a lot of D-power in the bar, so if you let go of the bar whilst you're riding along, you're going to lose like 60 or 70% of your power anyway. So I would say that it's not just an advanced kite, and that you shouldn't, just because it's got a label as a c-kite, you shouldn't let that put you off, even if you're a learner. I mean, it's just as versatile as most other kites, but the main difference is you've got a lot more bar feedback, and you really know where that kite is in the air, and it's super responsive whilst you're riding. The Gambler is like a reasonably new freestyle board in the North line, and in the last 2 years we've been developing it, and I've had a little bit of feedback and a little bit of input into the development of this board. And I've been riding boots now for about 4 or 5 years, and it's sort of developed because of that. And a lot of people we've been riding rails. Me, Sam, James and Aaron have been riding rails for the last few years, and because of our style of riding, we've developed this type of board, and for me it works really well. I would say that riding boots is slightly more of an advanced thing. Like, once you've already got your basic kite skills down and you're looking to progress your riding or do something different, then riding boots is a good next step. But in the type of board you're looking for a little bit more rocker throughout the board, a little bit stiffer between the feet to avoid torsional flex, because you've got a lot of leverage on your ankles when you're riding in boots, and just really a more versatile board, and a little bit stronger, because generally when you're riding boots your style of riding is a bit more aggressive, and the tricks you do have a lot more force in them, so you don't want something that's going to break. So we've sort of developed this to be probably the strongest freestyle board in the North Range, and sort of good for riding sliders and maybe a bit of crossover into cable as well. I would describe the Gambler as quite a conservative wake style board. I mean, it's designed with wearing boots in mind, but also it doesn't have so much rocker that it's going to stop you going upwind. and it runs well with fins, and if you want to ride it with straps, it's really good with straps as well. It'll just be a little bit slower than the Team Series and the other freestyle boards in the range because it does have a little bit more rocker, but I wouldn't let it put you off just because I ride it with boots. You can definitely ride it with straps as well. As far as the range goes, it's a pretty all-round range. The kite and the board, you can use them pretty much how you want to use them as a rider, and I wouldn't let like a certain stereotype influence your influence the way you ride. I would have a go on all the gear that is available and just test out what you like best.